doing a tour this summer. It's going to bring them back to Cleveland in June. A day to remember on the least anticipated album tour. Special guests, The Story So Far, 4 Years Strong, and Military Gun. If you're hip to those guys. It is Friday, June 14th at Jacobs Pavilion. You can go to axs.com for any and all info and tickets, whatever. First pair this week for you. Day to remember. Want to check these guys out? Be caller 10-216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
The Alan Cox Show.
It all is created in a place like this by putting bits and pieces of sound together and building them all up until what you hear seems real.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.
Expect the worst of every one of me. Count the clock as I get sleep.
This might be something Mary get into. Remember A Day to Remember? Do you remember A Day to Remember?
I do like that. A lot.
Another Florida band. These guys kind of walk that line between like the pop punk metal thing. And yeah, they do good work. Been around for quite a while. So anyway, I'll have those for you about this time all week if you're in A Day to Remember. More to the point, though, I've got your second clue if you're trying to get Cavalier's playoff tickets for tonight. We've got a bunch of them, and I've sent out a Confederate with these tickets. All you have to do is find them. First clue I gave you was 1 million visitors a year. Remember that one, Bill?
Yeah, I made a good joke.
What was the joke?
It was your mom's house. All the visitors.
Implying that my mom is having sexual relations with a lot of men?
You believe it. Better believe it.
You believe it. I don't believe it. Of course, I can't even get my mom to return my text these days, so I don't know what's
Busy
going
with
on.
all those millions of people.
Shut up. 1 million visitors a year was your first clue. Second one, corpse flower.
Okay.
Zeroing in on it?
I think I got it.
Rob's out there, and he's got 9 pair of tickets for tonight's playoff Game 2, Cavs Magic. 7 o'clock. You'll hear it here on the Buzzard. I will give away a 10th pair on the air later on, a little before 5 o'clock. But if you're out and want to grab these tickets for tonight, find Rob. 1 million visitors a year and corpse flower.
Yeah,
Those are
corpse
your first
flower.
2 clues, Mary. What do you think I said? Power? Corpse power?
No, I'm just
Oh.
trying to make it make sense.
Yep. Well, you know what each of those words means. Put them together, you might come up with something.
Dead rose.
Mm-hmm. You nailed it. You nailed it. I've
like
got
watching-
him lying in
I
a
love
bed of
watching
dead
you
roses.
think. Mary's concentration face is one that is just so. It's so.
I'm 30 seconds behind
Yeah.
on the live stream, so I'm watching.
And she's not feeling well. I mean, you probably feel the heat coming off of her. Yeah.
It's taking so long. No, I'm cold. I'm always cold, but I'm like chills cold. But I think dead rose is probably
Well, I
probably
can.
accurate.
I will tell you. Only thing I'll tell you in the midst of these clues is he is not standing in a bed of dead roses.
You should be.
Unless he's called an audible, but I haven't heard anything new from him. So that is your current clue. Second of 3. I'll give you the third one in about a half an hour. What are you guys doing for Earth Day? Today's Earth Day.
I'm going to the Cavs game.
Hey, you going tonight for the Cavs game? You think
Yeah.
they'll do a little Earth Day breakdown?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll probably have a little thing like, hey, we should love this Earth.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Love
Earth Day.
Earth Day.
Maybe I'll pick up some trash in New York City. But then I also don't
Yeah,
want to get
don't-
more sick.
don't-
I shouldn't
yeah,
touch
yeah,
anything
don't
on the
touch
ground
them.
here.
No. That's not.
I don't know. I didn't have any plans.
Ladies and gentlemen,
What is that, the Cavs?
Yeah.
Cavaliers.
Yeah,
Ladies
13.
and gentlemen, the Cleveland Cavaliers call your attention to the Jumbotron for tonight's Earth Day celebration. Here, to give you more information on Earth Day in these United States, from the Alan Cox Show, Bill Squire.
1 million people a year visit Alan's mom's house. Believe that.
Shut up, Bill. That's not.
Earth Day.
Why does the Romo Fijo sound so empty? The playoff game. Oh, shut up.
That just sounds like a rainstorm. Of course, it would be massive applause for Bill's Earth Day address. They have funds are going to be sent toward investment in solar energy across these United States.
Wait a second.
Yes?
I think New York is doing some kind of a no-car thing today for Earth Day.
I imagine you would have noticed that.
Earth Day, no cars. No, I saw something on Instagram.
You probably would have walked through the streets and it would have seemed like The Walking Dead had that been a thing.
Oh, it was on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. 53 streets shut down
yeah.
Saturday.
Saturday, April 20th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. They did a car-free for those, I was like, I saw something on Instagram about this, but yeah. What was I doing Saturday?
What
Nothing,
were
I
you
guess.
doing Saturday?
I had 3 shows Saturday, so I wouldn't have been in the city before 7 o'clock anyway. But yeah.
There you go. Good job. You did it.
I did it. I didn't use my car during the 10 to 4 hour. when
I
was
didn't
supposed to.
contribute any pollution on Saturday to...
Until 7 p.m.
Yeah, that was so nice of you.
I'm pretty nice.
Yeah. My older daughter had her final orchestral choir performance of the semester. They're coming to the end of the year at Michigan State. And so I took her sister, I took my little one, and we went to see her concert. And my son is there too. And so we have something to eat with my son. And then I pick my daughter up and I take her over to the theater. And then about an hour later, we get in there and we're taking our seats. And the theme this year was Songs of the Sea. And so I thought it was going to be a bunch of shanties. And it was a 2-hour, I didn't realize how long the Songs of the Sea were. Like, at least the ones that had been composed and performed in this particular show. And you're talking a full orchestra. You're talking soloists in front. There was a baritone. There was a soprano. My daughter is a soprano, but she's back there with the choir. And Songs of the Sea, the conductor is Spanish. So, you know, he's talking to everyone, and it's somewhat difficult to understand what he's saying, but he's very excited to do this thing. And it was a 2-hour performance on Saturday night, and they played 6 songs. These are long, long songs. And I'm looking at the program because they'll tell you what the songs are, and you don't know these songs, right? I mean, they're composed a long time ago, but I mean, they're amazing compositions and the performance dynamite. But I was like, I think a lot of people in this thing were like, oh my God. The last song of the night was 35 minutes long. And I don't know, have you ever been, you know, Bill is our local patron of the arts. He's found himself at Severance Hall on a number of occasions.
Been a while, though.
I've lived in Cleveland for 14 years, and I have yet to go to Severance Hall. But if you've ever been at a show like that where the audience somehow knows not to clap, they somehow, I don't know if these are people who are so used to it or maybe they're somewhat familiar with the music. I don't know what.
They put it in the, like the paper that they hand out.
They put in don't clap?
No, they just put, like, here's how you are, here's the etiquette of the evening.
Oh, they don't put that in these. No, they just tell you what the songs are, who's singing them, blah, blah, blah. It's just like it's a credits thing, right? Program. But I was like...
And then at the end, that's when they do, like, a big, long applause, and then everybody does their bows and
right,
stuff.
what I'm saying is these songs, nobody in the audience knows how long these songs are going to be. So my point is, there would be these huge crescendos in this song that sounded like it was done, but then it wouldn't be. And then the orchestra would go way, way, way down. The conductor would just kind of stand there. And then things would get going again. So there were these ebbs and flows of these songs, and I was like, how? It was just like everybody had a sixth sense that this isn't done yet, even though your ears would tell you that's the end of the song because you're going to go out on a bang, right? All these old compositions, they go way out on a big old thing. That's why they're performing them in this forum, because it's a great showcase for the orchestra, and they make it a point to single out the kids who are graduating and what they're going on to next. One kid in the cello section, they go, he's leaving to go back home to Korea for his mandatory military service. I'm like, boy, imagine that. You spend 4 or 5 years in the United States playing cello, having fun. You think if you play that when you pick up the phone, you go, cello.
Man, only if you're a dad.
But I don't play the cello.
Right, but I'm saying if you are
How
a
many
dad and
dads play the cello? You ever met a dad who played the cello?
No, but I haven't asked every dad, I bet. I don't think it's something they lean on.
Well, anyway, Earth Day, I don't know what people do for it anymore, but it's been around for a long, long time, and you really have to hand it to the organizations that are still flying that Earth Day flag because so many other people, it's too little too late on the Earth Day stuff, but they're still out there and trying to do stuff, and in a short span of 200 years, humanity reversed a climate trend that had lasted for about 50 million years. So, at least we can sign off with that. There had been a multi-million year cooling trend. Things had been cooling for a long, long time. Even as recently, if you know your history, the Earth was getting a lot cooler even in the late 1960s. If you remember that from like maybe high school science or something.
Nope.
Earth was getting a lot cool. You remember this, Mary? High school science, how the 60s, there was like that big cooling period?
No. Was it hippies? Where everything was
Is it
groovy?
the Fonz?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, God.
I mean, you had Sly and the Family Stone in 66, and then Funkadelic drops, and Steely Dan shows up,
Yeah.
and the Stones drop Exile on Main Street, and then Donna Summer basically ushers in disco, and it's all over. And the Earth was ice cold. But whatever people are doing for Earth Day, Mary didn't drive her car in today.
No.
This is very nice of you.
I did forget my work badge, though.
Work badge.
I would have had to go back and taken public transportation twice. Does that help the Earth?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go then.
Every little bit helps. A family from Cuyahoga Falls, Leslie and David Gallagher, were married for 25 years. They lived in Cuyahoga Falls. They owned a local restaurant. Probably a lot of listeners down there who know exactly who these people are. And Leslie and David Hunt were the friends who were dead. And a friend of theirs was going to spread their ashes in California, per their wishes. He had the ashes of Leslie and David Hunt, and he was taking a flight from Ohio and landed at LAX so that he could go out there, and the ashes were stolen. I don't know how they were stolen. Oh, he stopped to eat at a Denny's, and someone broke into his car as he was inside eating at the Denny's. So while he's in there having a grand slam or whatever, Moon's Over My Hammy, is that a Denny's thing?
That is. It's a good one.
It's a good one.
I'm more of a Perkins man, but I'll take your word for it. And somebody broke into his car, and maybe they thought that urn was something valuable. Of course, it was. It's sentimental value, but who knows what they thought that it was. But he came back to the car, and it had been taken. The window was broken, completely shattered in the back, and all of the belongings inside had been scooped up. I don't want to be a dick, but man, I think I would put ashes in the trunk. Like, I put my backpack in the trunk when I'm going somewhere where I don't think, that's just the smart thing to do. In his defense, you probably don't imagine that going inside having a bite to eat, you're going to come out and your car is going to be smashed. I mean, he was in the Denny's parking lot. It's not like he was around the corner.
I don't blame him for anything here. When you're at Denny's, you feel like no one's going to steal ashes from you. Like, maybe they'll try and steal the whole car, but not just the ashes, not the urn.
So, David passed away in 2016. Leslie passed away this past Christmas. And her last wishes were for their ashes to be reunited in her hometown of Huntington Beach. Pardon me. Toity and toity. They had a memorial this past Saturday. Well, it was scheduled for that. And so this friend of theirs, very kindly, was taking the ashes from Cuyahoga Falls to Huntington Beach, California, and put them in his car. And, of course, they were stolen.
I would like to see
from
his
the
ticket.
Denny's parking
I would like
lot.
to see the ticket that he had to go to Huntington Beach. Because I imagine he wasn't going to drive all the way out there. I think this is a convenient way for him to get out of having to take those ashes all the way to California.
Yeah.
Because it's expensive right now to fly out there.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, no, the ashes got stolen. Nothing I can do now.
He set it up so somebody broke into his car.
Yeah.
Where did the break-in happen?
Denny's parking
He
lot.
was in a parking lot
where?
at Denny's.
What's
The
the-
5700 block of Manchester Avenue in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. I
So
thought
he was already in California.
Oh,
Oh,
he
yeah.
just didn't want to drive down the
No, he
highway traffic.
he got the rental at LAX.
Okay. Okay.
He's
Well.
already out there.
In that case, that's just a bummer.
It really is a bummer. And I think that's what he said on the news. It's just a real bummer. I mean, this guy's he's in Inglewood, but you're not far from where you're trying to go. You got to go through El Stinkundo. You got to go through Manhattan Beach. And I don't know if they didn't have kids or what it was, but their friend was nice enough to do this. But the story is confusing to me because the rear window is completely shattered, all the belongings inside, including David and Leslie's ashes. Maybe not all the ashes. I don't know.
Well,
Leslie's
chances are they'll still end up together. Like maybe they're not
Yeah.
gonna get spread at Huntington Beach, but they're at least together.
Like,
Yeah.
What is that guy doing, though, when he gets home? And
Yeah,
he's
what do
like,
you do? I mean, the new episode of The Simpsons last night, they had a guy named Larry who sat at the end of Moe's bar, and the whole episode is about how these guys were constantly living their lives at Moe's, and they never really knew Larry that well. They didn't include him in the group, and he dies at the end of the bar, and so they do this. He's drawn like a season 1 character, so I don't know if maybe they brought him back or something, but they drop the urn, and Moe discovers that it's filled with sapphires, and that Larry might have been smuggling gems. And so when they went through the crematorium or whatever.
Maybe they don't need to do 35 seasons of The Simpsons.
It is weird watching The Simpsons. I'm like, listen, they've gone through every possible permutation of Bart Sabrat and Lisa Smart. But it very much is a zombie show. If you ever read articles on zombie shows, they're like, these are still on, but you try finding a person who watches them. But yeah, because The Simpsons now, the animation itself is so major label. It's so slick, and so, and the people's voices are starting to go. I mean, Julie Kavner sounds like she's 110 years old. So that kind of takes you out of it because Marge sounds so strange now. Very gravelly, very scratchy. They've been doing this show for 35 years. Harry Shearer's Mr. Burns sounds weird. All of his other characters sound fine. Smithers sounds the same. The kids sound the same. But Harry Shearer's Mr. Burns is very, I don't know what it is. A very emphysema quality to it.
I haven't watched a season 30-plus episode in, I don't think, any of the 30-plus. Like, I've dabbled in some of the 20s, watched a lot of the teens, but definitely not up to date on the seasons 30 through 35 of The Simpsons.
That's insane.
It's
That's
so many.
my whole life.
Yeah.
What? How old
34.
are you?
I'm 34.
What?
I know.
Dude, I thought you were like 23.
Aw.
I've got to take a break. Hey, the Dave Matthews Band, they're getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And they're also coming to Cleveland. Which is more exciting? I'd say them coming to Cleveland. Dave Matthews Band, I guess twice this year. June 25th, they're going to play Blossom. And then conceivably, they would be here to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I'll have those DMB tickets for you after the break. Another $1,000 for you from the Buzzard Bookie. And another clue, if you want to get some of those Cavs playoff tickets, I got a bunch of them for tonight at the Romo Fijo Game 2 against the Magic. And I'll give you that next clue as to where they are out and about when we come back.
This is the Alan Cox